Coming to you live from the One More
Sorry,
Out
I
of
kind of
Here
dumped that on you, didn't I?
/ Illegal Shift Studios. Holy shit!
Justin Bieber.
You dropped a bomb right there.
Where
right
is my
before.
song? I cannot do this when I'm under pressure.
Well, you're under copyright infringement if you play
No,
that.
I'm not.
So
For more than 15 seconds, I know the law, so thank you very much.
No,
Back off. Do you have a law degree?
You're under trademark.
Hey, everybody.
Jesus Christ! See, this is what happens. We argue all the way until it's time to start,
Then we
and
get
then
along
and then
like
we
clams.
keep arguing. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for being here. It's a very weird day for me.
What are you? That hurts me.
Andrew,
Less so.
Andrew is impartial.
I am impartial.
I didn't say anything.
I found my
bad.
song. Can I play it?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, you can, and I'll just mute your mic. It's cool. Go ahead.
Fine. Wait, where is it?
You can go ahead.
How do you
play
do this? Wait. There it is. Oh, that's the live version. I
You're
hate
so
that.
dumb.
You're dumb. That's
See,
the live version.
how about fucking preparing and not getting here 10 minutes beforehand and getting here a little
I
bit
think
before.
I was here 7 minutes beforehand.
7 minutes. I was giving you 3 extra.
I know.
Anyway.
That's what she said.
Very weird day for everybody that lives here in Cincinnati.
It's a weird day. I'll say this: it's not only Cincinnati. I mean, I think it's baseball.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Major League Baseball as a whole.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to the hit king Pete Rose.
Got the red on behind us.
There are a lot of
Got my red cup.
Cheers to Pete. Whether you liked him, whether you didn't, you cannot argue.
Why would you not like him?
Well, I mean, the decisions that he made, and people formed opinions, and
everyone else in the world is perfect,
and you know exactly how that works. You've been in.
You've
been in the spotlight.
No,
you've been in the spotlight
and
gotten bitched at. So,
well, here's the deal: there was one perfect man in this world, one perfect person in this world, and they rewarded him by nailing him to the cross. So no one out there is perfect. Okay,
correct.
So look, so you're the baseball guy. You grew up, and we'll discuss it this way. So you grew up watching Pete Rose, celebrating Pete Rose, and obviously, cheering on the Reds and following the Reds. I not so much because, I didn't grow up here. Number 2,
you're a transplant.
I'm a transplant. Number 2, baseball puts me to sleep, but that's okay. I have a very complex mind. You don't. But my point in asking this is
funny. I can make all this work and you can't. So
that's the truth. I'm like, but
keep talking your shit.
Here's the deal. Pete Rose, what I find so amazing, we briefly discussed this today, for what they made him a villain into, okay? Which I don't think he was a villain at all. Yeah, he probably made some bad decisions and whatever, but I think the man was incredible. I appreciated his grit, his bravery, the way he played the game. I mean, diving head first. I mean, every time. Are you kidding me? And I love the way he left it all on the field from what I've seen. And maybe that's correct, right? I mean, you would agree with that.
Oh, absolutely.
But what I find absolutely just, I don't know what the right word is. It funny or just amazing, I guess is the better word, is everything they're crucifying or crucified him for. My God, have you watched a professional sporting event? You can gamble on individual pitches in baseball. You can gamble. There's not a segment of the professional sporting world that you cannot wager on.
That they actually now
promote
in the stadium.
In the stadium and on the field and during the game. And like, this pitch is brought to you by FanDuel. I'm like, really? Right. Are you serious? But I mean,
so the irony, yeah.
It's just the irony. I guess they were like, hey, we could really make a lot of money at this. So I think once they did that, I think it would have been a far decent thing if they would have said, hey, listen, we grasp the hypocrisy of our past position, and although it was illegal at the time, the reason they're celebrating and embracing it now is because they realize that everyone did gamble on sports and they wanted a piece of that pie, and they should have, my opinion as an outsider, and I could say this completely and utterly without any emotion because I have no emotion. I had my emotion removed.
Yeah.
And
That's factual.
and I say they should have lifted the ban and put the man in the Hall of Fame.
At least, all right. So, being a Cincinnati guy and a Pete Rose fan, he fucked up.
Yeah.
He lied and didn't come clean for 17
He
years
wasn't
later.
running for office. I mean, they forgive you for that.
Well, exactly. And
Just a baseball player.
but
come on.
he came clean, but there was never any proof, and he had the receipts to back it up, and the fact that he bet on his team to win when he did bet on baseball. Right, wrong, or indifferent, yes, he violated the rules. All right, cool, got it. But as you know, what are we at? He got banned in '89.
You would know the years much
So-
more than I would.
So here we are this many years later, and his last interview, I just literally just watched the last interview that happened not too long ago. And he goes, I just hope that they think about me and potentially put me in before I die. But he goes, the Hall of Fame is for the fans and the family. So he goes, hopefully they put me in before my family dies.
Yeah,
and ironically, that was just not too long ago that interview happened. So it's just very, very weird, very ironic, and it's weird for Cincinnati people.
It is, and my feed
that
has
are
been,
born and bred.
My well, I mean, or followed him from afar. I mean, my feed is full of. I think everybody and their mother has posted a photograph of them with Pete Rose in the last 24 hours. I mean, seriously, it's just been nonstop, and that's okay. I appreciate the fact that they. I appreciate the fact that they celebrate their own and hold him up, and let's hope that baseball maybe figures things out and does the right thing and says, you know what, we realize the hypocrisy of our ways now, and
when you've already put asterisks on steroid use.
Oh yeah,
with the home run, McGuire and Sosa, all of that. I mean, and that's all been talked about ad nauseum. But the fact that
what does that mean?
Pete Rose was 83 years old, so it was coming. We knew it was coming soon. I just didn't expect. I mean, apparently he was with a lot of the members of the Big Red Machine 24 hours before he passed.
Well, the lesson
at an autograph session, and but at least. Those teammates, I think, got the high five before he went.
Yeah.
So I think that part, that solace, I think is pretty cool.
Well, I hope that, at the end of the day, the lesson here to learn is we know not the hour. So, live every day to the fullest.
I had multiple times to hang out with him, played golf with him once or twice. And
I didn't see any pictures.
He is, because I don't need to fucking throw my shit out on Facebook, dude.
Oh, I hate people that live on Facebook.
Oh, well, yeah, weird. Very strange.
Very strange.
No, great dude to me. Every time I had the pleasure of hanging out with him.
I think that's cool, and I'm sorry for you that you've lost one of your idols. And
that was my dude. Like every young kid my age.
Oh yeah,
was like and my dad and my stepdad.
Were you a baseball player?
Yes, my stepdad was like, if you're not digging it out, you're not Pete Rose.
Did you slide head first?
Sometimes.
Explains a lot.
Sometimes.
Explains.
Yeah. All the head injuries. But no, RIP to Pete Rose.
Hey, one more. There you are.
We're not out of here yet, but
no.
And a huge thank you to John from Difficult to Look At Pictures for our thumbnail. I think he killed that one. I love it. I gave him the topics we were going to talk about, and he killed it. So I appreciate you, John.
You mentioned that when we started the show with, it's a weird day, and I think that's a great take because it is a weird day. So, we had Pete Rose pass away. We had earlier this week, we had Chris Christopherson pass away.
Yep. Willie Nelson's the only lasting highwayman. Would you have thought that?
No.
Would that have been your guess?
No.
Out of any of them?
No, he looks like Keith Richards is still alive.
Right.
So, I mean, do the math on that one.
Keith Richards was 45 when Willie Nelson was born.
Oof. But what else do we have going on in the world? We have the ports on our eastern and southern seaboards are closed.
Yes. So that's huge.
That's fairly large. we have and we
Which
get
that's
larger every
that's
day.
going to touch everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and that's going to get larger. The impact of that's going to get larger every day.
Huge fire in Georgia.
We have a giant at I believe it's a biochemical lab. That's what it said initially.
It's a pool place. So it was all chlorine. And
Okay,
shit.
so it's not a biochemical
Not
lab.
biochemical, but it's
chemical. All right.
bad.
Well, the initial report was it was a biochemical lab.
I think it's the name of it's. I think it's called Biolab.
Hence the confusion.
Yes.
And we have intercontinental ballistic missiles raining from one country onto another country in the Middle East.
Flooding in the southeast that
flooding of
they're
biblical,
waiting for help. Still,
did you get that? Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. But I did send you a picture from about the flooding in Carolina.
Oh, I think I do have it.
But and we'll touch on that. And
I tried to be really diligent about what you sent me.
I know. And so we have a lot to discuss. I mean, it's a weird day. The world, as we discuss every week, it seems like every show, the world is spinning a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And personally, I find it a little disconcerting. How about you?
Well, it's fucking scary in the fact that we have people in our country. We've
the southern border's wide open. We didn't mention that one.
Right. Weird.
Sorry, still happening.
That's the other thing.
That's the other thing.
But we have people in our country, in the southeastern part of our country, that are just yearning for help.
Yearning is putting it mildly. I mean,
and it's taking forever.
Well, we have, and we've heard. I've seen reports. So this happened today. Is Monday.
I don't know what picture you're talking about.
I'm talking about the picture I sent you. But anyway, because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of stories that say that. I'll send it again. I've seen a lot of stories that say that the flooding and I see a lot of headlines that say, it's climate change, that the flooding in the Carolinas and Tennessee is taking place. And I found online a great photograph, and it's from actually. Let me see here.
Was that the
date on it?
The double up?
It was this one. 108 years ago, Carolina, Asheville actually flooded of biblical proportions. It was actually worse than today, and they didn't have the benefit of dams back then. So, I there's a lot going on in the world, like we said, and there's a debate tonight. There's a vice presidential debate. I'll send it again.
No, I got you.
You got it?
Yep, I got it.
So there's a vice presidential debate tonight, and we're going to touch on that a little bit. I hope everyone's going to watch it. We have Ohio District 1 debate is tonight between Orlando Sanza and Greg Landsman. And I don't know if Greg Landsman is going to do it shirtless and show his tats.
Show his tats. Go to your picture first before
Dude
you
is
go.
so ripped.
Because I got it.
He's just ripped. But anyhow, it just shows that. So if you're previewing the internet and you see that, the headlines I saw was climate change this and blah, 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 climate change that is affecting, and it was a bad hurricane. No misunderstanding. I want you to take a look here at, it was in July 16th of 1916. Another hurricane made its landfall and parked itself over the Carolinas. And look at the flooding that took place then, and you can't even see the picture on the worst picture. I mean, obviously the upper right is bad, but the lower one just shows the amount of debris all over the place, and you see the flooding in town. That town, that sign, if you can't see it on the building, says Asheville. So things happen, and my main concern. I'll tell you what my main concern. How are you going to turn this political, Pappas? Well, let me tell you how I'm going to turn it political. First of all, we've seen reports that the biggest concern of FEMA is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and somehow that the distribution of response to natural disasters needs to be done in an equitable fashion. You know what the funny thing is all the damage there and all the destruction and the people hurting. And when I donate or somebody sits there and says, what can we do? The first thing, the question they don't ask, Jason? They don't say, what can I do to help the white people?
How can I help?
Or they don't say, what can I do to help the black people? Or what can I do to help the brown people?
Normal people are, how can I help?
all I hear Americans saying is, how can I help?
Yep.
I've seen it all up and down Facebook and social media. I will say that I'll throw this out there for the people, because when we had that flooding, we mentioned it last time, when we had the flooding in Eastern Kentucky a few years ago, and we gathered up, our local Republican club gathered up a boatload of stuff, and we actually outgrew the vehicle, and we had to rent a bigger vehicle. The response teams I saw down there that stood out to me as being most helpful. Yeah, there were some FEMA trailers there, but Samaritan's Purse was there, Matthew 25 Ministries was there, and those were the ones. And Samaritan's Purse is located very close to there, up in North Carolina. So I would recommend. They do a great job. They have a call out for helicopter pilots and helicopters to assist, because there's so many cities and towns and villages that are cut off. The roads have been washed out. So, if you know somebody that's a helicopter pilot and has a few days to kill, there's definitely organizations that could put you to use down there in Carolina, and you probably get free gas. So that'd be kind of cool.
So I listen to Drinking Bros, and Dan Holloway, former military guy, whatever. I don't know him personally, but listen to him a bunch. I know people that do know him personally. So I know he has these contacts, and he was talking on, I'm always a day behind on theirs, that people he knows personally are flying shit in.
Yeah.
Dropping stuff off. And what I didn't think about, though, with that is the fact that, like, the insurance on, like, that mission to do that, to go fly, take off in your helicopter, if you're doing humanitarian stuff, it's not necessarily covered.
Yeah, I know.
So it's you're taking a risk.
You're taking a risk because, if something happens,
I didn't know that, and I heard that, and I couldn't. I didn't fact check.
That's like the last thing people think about when they're trying to help, bro. Though,
right?
I gotta say,
absolutely.
And so more kudos.
If you've got a fucking helicopter, you've got enough. You've got enough cojones anyway to say, hey, guess what? I'm going to step up and do something.
Well, and this is also because the federal government is, from what I've heard and what you've heard, is dragging, not necessarily the state government. I've heard good things about the state of Tennessee and Carolina helping out and mobilizing the Guard to help out. But did you see the report I sent you about, I believe it was 8 illegals, migrants were arrested for looting in Tennessee? You didn't see that, did you?
No.
I sent it to you.
You send me shit fucking so goddamn late.
Sporadically. Andrew. No, this was earlier, but it's okay.
No,
so, hey, put that in your pipe and smoke it. But, I think that any looter, whether they be legal or illegal, I think, we used to shoot looters in this country. Looters would be shot. Those people have lost absolutely everything. I saw homes floating away. And you're going to go down there and steal? You must be out of your mind.
And I think that is, I don't have your email.
Of course you don't. I'll send it to somebody
Jesus
else.
Christ.
Where's Rob? Give me Rob back.
Well, all right. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. But no, I think that's related to. So there's a sheriff in Florida, Grady. Sheriff, shit, I can't remember if Grady is his last name or first name, but
okay.
Bad son of a bitch. He goes, if you want to come into our community, guess what? I
do remember that. I do remember.
So,
I think he deputized everybody.
So there was a Tennessee sheriff that was like, hey, look, I've got people in their businesses that are sleeping there, and if you decide to go loot it, you're on your own. Because I am going to promote them to kill you.
Yeah, I mean, I believe what he did was
do not steal from our people.
Here, I got the ad right here. I got the story, and I'll send it to you here in a second. But he deputized people, and
which is good.
It's great.
I think it's fantastic.
I think it's fantastic. And so, we sit here, and we're in Cincinnati, Ohio, which isn't terribly far from Carolina. As the crow flies. So if you have the means and can help out, please consider the charity of your choice And remember that some charities, I don't want to get into it here, but do your
You
research.
got all kinds of money. You can get a goddamn helicopter.
Don't you worry about me.
Come on now.
But I do know people that have helicopters.
Just drop something.
And here's the deal. Check out some of your charities, because some charities take a bigger bite of your donation than others, and people get annoyed at that. I'm not, this isn't what the show's about, but do your homework. Check out your charity. I know locally Matthew 25 does great things. They take a lot of stuff. You can get rid of things you don't need anymore and then help out by dropping off. They have a facility in Blue Ash. They'll take your stuff, and I'm sure they will be sending resources down there to help these poor people. So, as I said, if you can't do money and you have stuff, take your stuff and get involved. Help out. And these are Americans. I don't care if they're white, black, brown.
It's people that
doesn't
need
matter.
help.
People need the help, man. And so how are you tying this back into politics? Well, here's my concern. So
I thought you were asking me because I got one.
Well, I don't know if people have thought about
teed up
this. So we've
that you
heard
don't know about.
we've heard that so far the federal response has been perceived as being lacking. FEMA's not on the ground in a lot of the areas, hasn't been there. You're talking about rural Tennessee and rural Carolina, right? Okay, so we have an election in literally 40 days or less than that. No, about 40. No, wait, 30. Anyway, we got election coming.
Numbers are hard for Andrew.
I know, but
he wants to talk all kinds of shit. But
I think it's like 38 days or something like that. Don't quote me on the numbers. But here's my point.
It's close enough.
If you take large swaths of rural Tennessee and Carolina and make it difficult for those folks to vote, take those votes out of the obviously Trump column, because that's Trump country, and then you're focused more on the urban centers of Carolina, Tennessee, what do you think that could do for the vote in that state?
So I'm gonna help you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna help you.
I want people to chew on that.
You're right, but I'm going to help you for your naysayers that hate you.
No.
Is saying that, Andrew's saying that
that's not what I'm saying.
God made a hurricane come through and flooding and whatever. No, but that's what these fucking idiots are going to fucking say.
No, I think what they'll say is they'll say something along the lines of, I'm insinuating that there's, a purposely slow federal response because it's rural areas.
But
and
there
those
is
are Republican
but
areas.
It's fucking factual.
I'm not the one calling it a slow federal response. The people there are saying,
yes,
we haven't seen FEMA. No one's contacted us. We haven't seen it. We have, if I can get a truck from an aid agency there and FEMA still hasn't shown up, that's a problem. I think the first truck that should be there should be from FEMA. So I think that someone needs to be in these communities, in these areas, needs to be considering, not only are these people hurting, they need food, they need water, your infrastructure is wrecked, they're not going to have clean water for weeks and weeks, if not months. The sewage is going to be all screwed up for weeks and weeks, if not months. Mm-hmm. Getting food, electricity, even basic transportation, because the roads are destroyed, is going to be hard. So something needs to be thought of very quickly. How are these people going to be able to vote and then make sure that their votes are counted and that they can not feel like the rest of the state is going to tell them how that state votes? And that's my point. And I hate to get political, but we have a presidential, like it or not. We have a presidential.
You don't hate to, but we're in.
I really do hate.
We're in the right. We're in the right climate.
I know
to have to think about this. We have to think about
it. I hate going there, but we are in a presidential election, and if you take Tennessee and North Carolina, which are pretty solid red states, and you flip them over to blue states, that changes the election.
Yeah. So, and I've got a bunch of buddies that are on Ohio Task Force 1 that are out. They went to Florida first. They got redirected. They went down to Orlando. Then they got redirected to North Carolina, and they're working. It's not the boots on the ground people. It's the way that the upper management, i.e. Biden's administration, who is in charge of FEMA,
right,
has directed it.
Well, and to be fair, Biden's administration is just rife with these DEI hires and these people that are pushing DEI. So I'm not surprised by any stretch of the imagination. But getting back to my initial comment, so I just want folks to consider something for just 1 second. All right. And we didn't talk about this, Jason, but so we discussed the fact that, we've had tragedy, or at least heroes dying. We perceived as our heroes, your hero dying. We have, the flooding down south of us, natural disasters. We have the ports closed. We have, Russia and Ukraine still going on. We have intercontinental ballistic missiles raining down from Iran onto Israel. Southern border still wide open, right? Still wide open. We have a report day after day. I just sent you the report on the 8 migrants that were caught looting in Tennessee, and every other day there's another story of migrants committing crimes, heinous crimes. We have the numbers of criminals here that Jean-Pierre will dispute.
Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, but you're going to tell me, Jason, the biggest issue this election cycle is abortion? I mean, are you kidding?
Absolutely not.
Are you serious? I mean, as passionately as you want to discuss abortion, and as passionately as the Democrats want to try to make this an issue, the simple fact of the matter is this is not a federal issue anymore, folks. The Supreme Court has ruled.
Already moved to the states.
It's moved to the states. So anytime that you hear someone, whether it be a Democrat or a conservative Republican, telling you that this election is important because it's going to decide the future of abortion in the United States, I want you to just learn and understand one thing. They are lying to you, looking in your face and lying to you. They're trying to play on your emotions as whatever, and you will then be a tool for them, and you're being used. So just take abortion off your plate and put it to the side, because that's a state issue and you can deal with it as a state issue.
We've got bigger things in the world
to
deal with.
It could be argued that we're seeing, I mean, I hate to be biblical on you, but it could be argued we're living through the beginning of the apocalypse. I
put it in there. I said, is this apocalypse? I don't know.
I don't know either. But I will say that when I saw the video of the missiles raining down on Israel, and I'd like to ask you a question. So, a lot of this is definitely now it's not, Iran's just doing this directly, not through their proxies. So Iran has attacked Israel with over 200 or approximately 200 ballistic missiles, not just, little shoulder fired things. These are like launched big missiles. So if Iran had nukes, Jason, if they had nukes, how many of those missiles would have nukes on them right now?
Fucking every one
of them.
Every single one.
And so the Israelis are sitting there. It was their capital. Now Israel's their capital, but Tel Aviv is one of the largest cities, if not the largest city in Israel. And missiles are just raining down. The Iron Dome has been overloaded. It can only stop so many. So the world is a really interesting, complex, very dangerous place. And again, your biggest issue that you're going to go in and pull the lever on the voting booth is abortion? Mildly. I find that curious.
I find it very curious as well. And the fact that
that's my 2 bits on the.
And again, with the whole FEMA response, I'm gonna revert back it's not the boots on the ground. It's being told. They knew this storm was coming.
They knew it was coming. I don't think they perceived the amount of rain that they got.
But Jesus Christ, dude! Like,
I've seen the videos. It's terrible.
Like, come on,
terrible.
You have the smartest potentially.
Well, let me say this.
The smartest dudes in the tops. I had my guys that are on the task force.
Right.
They're like, they're going to get smoked. We got to get ready.
We got to get ready, right? Because they saw it coming.
Yes.
Well, your federal government doesn't see anything.
Big people up here that make all the money.
Well, the people that should know better don't.
They don't.
And that's what happens when you fill agencies with DEI hires rather than competent
Wouldn't
people.
Change the outcome.
No, but your response, which is all you can control,
but would help.
Could you know how much more comforting it would be to those people that they wake up the day after their cities are swept away in mud and water, that the next day that there's trucks from the federal government or whatever knocking, searching, helping, organizing, positioning, forward positioning supplies, bringing in food, water, things that you don't have. You know how much comforting that is. Problem, what happens is it's not a lot of times it's not the what are you doing?
I'm fixing my mic. You fuck with your mic all the time. Shut the fuck up.
I have it perfect, so I'm not going to touch it.
Good. Don't touch it again.
But the problem is that it's the aftermath of the event that usually causes the most.
Yeah, you just got to live through the event.
You have to live through the event
and then figure it out.
And then that's right. But these poor people have lost everything. Hey, Dad's calling. I swear, Dad's calling.
How do I get on?
Here's the question. Hey, when's the show? Like now, Dad.
Put him on speaker.
No, I'm not putting my dad on speaker. Can't bleep that out enough. But I can't believe he's calling, and he's leaving me a voicemail. So anyhow, yeah, we have. There's a lot going on in the world, and again,
so
you might want to. I guess my point is, you may want to reevaluate your priorities coming this election season. I'll be called twice. Anyhow, so tonight's debate.
Let's move on to the longshoreman thing.
Yeah, let's do this. So yeah, you want to talk about another natural disaster of sorts that's coming? Coming.
Oh, it's definitely coming.
So we've been talking about that October 1st, the longshoremen were threatening to strike, right? But your transportation, but I call him the trans secretary because that's just shorter. Booty boy, the boy mayor of what the hell's he? Oh,
Indiana somewhere.
Yeah, where Notre Dame is. South Bend.
Yeah.
So anyway, the mayor of South Bend, thriving metropolis of South Bend, which is all the college. Take the college away, it's just a little city. But anyhow, couldn't fix potholes in South Bend, Indiana. But he's your transportation secretary, and he's been playing all weekend with Tampon Tim up there in Michigan because they just getting ready for that debate tonight. So hard. But you knew that this event was coming down the pike. Don't you think the transportation secretary would be holding round-the-clock talks and discussions between these two groups to try to avert a strike?
You would think. I've been in a union.
Right.
I understand how negotiations go.
Right.
And, hey, we're almost up.
You don't wait till the strike occurs, right?
Correct.
You kind of try to avoid.
We're almost up. Our contract's almost up.
Right.
Let's come to the table and let's try to get this figured out before the contract is over.
And we're not talking about an event or
because these contracts have a start date, end date.
And this is actually, as you mentioned, rightly so. This is going to impact every person in the United States. Now, today it's not. Now, tell me. Let's play. You have a video clip.
I got a couple with this.
Right. So we have the clip. Now, if you've seen The Godfather, this will sound eerily familiar to you.
This is I'm playing a different one first.
We'll play that one first.
Just to roll with it.
We'll play this first.
This morning, a strike is looming at ports along the East and Gulf Coasts that could cost the American economy billions of dollars per day and potentially lead to shortages for consumers.
A strike of this magnitude would cripple the U.S. economy.
Dock workers represented by the International Longshoremen's Association are threatening to go on strike Tuesday. The strike would affect 45,000 workers and close to 36 ports from Texas to Maine. Analysts warn a walkout lasting more than a week could lead to major supply chain disruptions. Anything imported could be delayed, including fresh produce, toys, alcohol, and vehicles and parts. Some experts warning if you need your car repaired, get to the dealership now.
If there's a prolonged strike, you could see shortages with fresh fruits and vegetables. Obviously, the automotive parts sector will be impacted.
The Port Workers Union is demanding higher wages and a ban on automated cranes, gates, and trucks. The U.S. Maritime Allowance, representing the ports, claims the union isn't bargaining in good faith. The Maritime Alliance has filed an unfair.
That's enough of that.
So I don't know, I don't know enough of the other part of how they're not bargaining in good faith.
Well,
being a part of a union negotiation, I don't know that, so I can't. Speak
I don't know.
To it.
Well, but so play. Let's just play. So this is the guy. This guy. This guy is the union rep, and let's just or the union boss. What do you call him?
Union president.
Union thug. What do you? I don't know the appropriate term. What do you call him?
Technically president.
Thug.
Almost alpha.
Almost. What happened to him? So anyway, play this guy and tell me if this guy feels like he's holding all the marbles and he's got your boys in his hand and he's going to start squeezing.
And I literally I watched this to get it to this point. So
these people today don't know what a strike is. Right. When my men hit the streets from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships.
6 years ago, I had it all.
Damn it.
Oh, we buffered.
Years later,
damn it.
We buffered.
I
Hold
lost
on,
everything.
stand by.
Mounting.
Happens.
They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. In today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
So does that guy seem like he's got, like I said, he's about to start squeezing you if he's not already? And, so he admits that even if Biden invokes Taft-Hartley and says you have to go back to work, that they're going to be at a much, much, much reduced capacity. They're still going to be getting paid their wages, full wages, but they're going to work like crap.
That Taft-Hartley thing is huge. But what I don't think people understand that have never worked around a union or especially, I mean, that's huge. That's a huge union because the Teamsters, it's not even all Teamsters, but Teamsters are involved in it.
Right. So let me
But
tell you,
that is a big union.
so they were offered a
These numbers astounded me. Though.
yeah. So they were offered a 50% wage increase because and their comments are, and as the news reporter said, so they're upset because inflation has eaten into their personal finances and they're not making as much money as they usually made. Well, I'll throw this out there for the listening audience. Who hasn't had that happen to them?
Right.
I mean, every American has had that happen to them. So the company offered them. Now, obviously,
and
they
one,
had this.
One
happen.
thing he did say before, like that, where I stopped that clip or where I made it to where it started.
Yeah.
A little bit before that, he was talking about where his guys worked through COVID, where everyone else was working from home.
I worked through COVID.
So did everybody else.
No
and
shit.
so did I.
Yeah. Give me a break.
So I get
Congratulations. You worked through COVID. What do you want, a
But
medal?
he's using that as a crutch.
Give me a break.
And I'm like,
well, here's the deal. So they were offered a 50% wage increase. Okay. And they turned it down. They wanted like a 77% wage increase, hourly wage. And this is over 6 years. And
50% the first year, and then
I think
the rest of it, the way I read it, was the rest of it for
$5 an hour every year for the next 6 years,
which would
like
make up that.
And they were at 35, and it gets them up to 65.
That would make up that 77%.
So, and then what they're fighting also is automation. Well, here's the deal. The ports in China, ports in other countries that have redone their ports that don't have these labor issues, they're automating and machines are being able to read barcodes on these containers, unload them, stack them in places. You're taking the human element pretty much out of the equation. I'm just telling you, that's what's happening overseas. So they're going to fight automation here in the United States. We're always going to have the people component. That kind of puts us at a little bit of a disadvantage rather than working with the industry to try to figure out other ways to employ folks that can embrace automation, increase productivity, and, kind of modify or morph your job, as things progress and as technology improves. Obviously, not everything can always remain the same.
Right.
Why don't you put the photograph? Now, this guy,
this guy,
you got the picture of, I don't think folks know much about this guy. And I just want to introduce you to.
No, it's good. No, you sending this to me, I think was fucking awesome.
So this is the guy that just,
because I started reaching.
He threatened your job. He threatened your livelihood. He's obviously.
You need me to survive.
Right. And this guy is representing his workers that are making a base of over 100 grand a year or close to 100 grand a year. But this guy somehow relates to them, and he makes flip.
This morning, a strike is.
Oh, shit.
That's close to it, but it's not it.
It was close to it.
God.
Got
the
it right
one with
here.
the boat. Yeah. So this is the guy. What's his average salary? He pulled in last year. How much?
728.
728 large, and he drives now.
Plus 173,000 as the president of the local union.
Right, so he makes almost $1 million a year, just under. Look at the boat that he sold. I mean, I can tell you, I know a little bit about boats. That's a nice boat. That's a hell of a boat.
76-foot yacht.
76 foot is a lot of boat. Obsession. He must be compensating for something. And he drives a Bentley, not necessarily a poor man's car. I have nothing against people that drive Bentley. More power to you. However, when you're representing, your worker and you're going to sit there and say that you commiserate with your rank and file, I don't know, Jason. That doesn't seem like commiserating with his rank and file that much.
That makes it very. That's a very
tough
hard
sell, isn't it?
Very hard pill to swallow.
Very hard pill to swallow. So, America, I just got. Actually, it's funny that we're talking about this right now. Somebody on my feed just posted because some people live on social media, but I don't. But they just posted. If you're pointing to me, I'm going to punch you right in the face on air. They just posted they're at Aldi's and their line is like 25 people deep because people are freaking out.
Everybody's
so people are going to go stock up.
Just like COVID, go grab your toilet paper. Go grab
either this or towels. You know what? I'm good on toilet paper.
I'll just shit in the yard and use leaves.
Still,
it's fine.
Again,
it's fine.
Again.
Guess what? I can adapt and overcome, sir.
So. Yeah, people are saying,
I got all my Amazon orders in that I had pending.
The West Coast went through this not too long ago, and the longshoremen got an increase in wages out there. I just don't know what is enough for these guys. I mean, I'm not bad mouthing the union carte blanche. I think the company, obviously the company is obviously doing, or the shipping companies are doing well. There's a lot of commerce coming through.
I know it's hard work, and being a fireman.
I'm not saying it's easy work. That's not what I'm saying.
And being a union fireman,
yeah, but my argument here is it's a little bit different. Who in the last 3 years? Okay, have you been able to negotiate a 50% wage increase?
Fuck no.
Okay, so have you learned to get by with less? Have you modified your expenses? Have you modified your lifestyle?
You figure it out.
Have you figured it out that, you're going to do a little bit less of this and a little bit less of that because, the money, the families, I mean, could you imagine being a family of four that you got 4 or 5 mouths to feed in your family? You're going out buying groceries. I mean, I went to Kroger the other day and I bought literally 2 small plastic bags. And it wasn't like I was buying Wagyu beef. I don't buy Wagyu beef. That's not who I am. But that's expensive, in case you didn't know.
Yeah,
but
I'm well aware. I'm surprised you didn't even pronounce it right. But go ahead.
What's it called?
Wagyu.
What'd I say?
Wagyu.
Wagyu. Like Wagyu? It's like Fago.
Yeah. Keep talking. Fuck.
So my point is, I got 2 little small grocery bags. You know what else is like $77?
Yeah.
I was like, this is not $77.
It's not easy to go into Kroger.
No, but I'm saying, and I'm not knocking Kroger. I mean, trust me, I'm not knocking Kroger. I mean, their stuff's costing more. My point is that, man, I mean, if you go grocery shopping, if you just pay attention, I was walking out thinking not that long ago, this would have been like maybe $35, $40 max. And it's $77. I was kind of shaking my head. I was like, I looked at the thing. I was like, is someone putting their thumb on the scale when I'm weighing my grapes here? Yeah. It's like, what the hell? So I've got a big problem with, I think people should prepare. I don't know. I know most of the stuff from China comes through the Pacific ports because obviously that's the east, from the east to the West Coast. But building supplies. So right now we have this devastation in Florida. We didn't discuss, but Florida did get a large part of Florida got hurt.
Shit ton of steel.
So we need steel, we need lumber, we need plywood, we need sheetrock that we don't make in this country anymore. So all this stuff that we don't make here anymore, because a lot of businesses have this model now we've adapted to, or we've adopted, that's just in time inventory. They think that's great, so then I don't have warehouses. All that's going to be shaken up. I mean, the supply chain issues, we just got over the COVID, for all intents and purposes, just got over the COVID supply chain issues. And now this is going to hit the U.S. economy. Yep. And now every day, from what I've heard, and I don't know this to be true, but every day that a port is closed, it takes them 5 days to catch up because, there's stuff on top of stuff. And I just don't know how many days this is going to go. So like you said, I would stock up. We get a lot of our medicines from overseas, from China and Europe. I would stock up on, your basic medicines. Maybe if you can stock up on your antibiotics. I just think that people need to prepare because we're going to have some serious supply chain issues that hit this country. And you're going to be dealing with, hurry up and wait here right before an election season. I don't know how this impacts the election because let's get back to politics. Personally, I think that, Donald Trump being the king, love him, hate him, I think he's the king of the deal, right? That's what he's known for, is solving problems. And J.D. Vance, who has a very good relationship with unions, first time that I forget the union that did not endorse for this election cycle, but they came and he's the leader of that union, came and spoke at the RNC. So for the first time ever, it was weird, but it was interesting.
Wait, hold on.
It was the
say it again. Who did not endorse him but came and spoke? It was the Teamsters.
The Teamsters. So yeah, they didn't endorse the Democrats, right? Which they traditionally always do.
He came and spoke at
the RNC,
which I thought for sure. I was like,
well,
and then they
to be fair, they did lie. They said that their membership was split. Well, it was like 60% of their membership was voting for Trump.
Yeah,
but hey, I'll take. Look, I'm not going to look at
the fact that the Teamster president was there,
and I'll take the fact they didn't endorse Kamala as a win. Okay, so I'm okay with that. So we're going to have some very interesting.
I think they went and turned and ended up endorsing her.
I think the other thing that's missed here, and maybe people will start to realize it. Maybe this will help them realize it. And only one candidate's talking about this. This is a prime example. We're about to go through what started today, why we need to bring back manufacturing jobs to the United States of America. And there's only one candidate that's talking about that. That's Donald Trump. And you may not like the tactics that he is discussing using with tariffs and whatnot else. But, he's using the only tools that he has at his disposal. And he is very adamant about bringing American jobs back to America, and let's make things in America again. Let's make steel, let's make lumber, let's make plywood, let's make sheetrock. Let's make America not dependent upon these foreign actors in the world that simply hold us hostage time after time again. Where else we got?
Well, I didn't know where the fuck you were going.
Well, I just wanted to say, with what we're going.
I felt like you were fucking segueing in somewhere.
No. I just think people need to wait. I think people need to connect the dots here. Nothing happens in a vacuum, and this strike right before an election. I mean, it's October right now.
It's not good.
It's not good, and it's only the first day, and I've already seen reports of lines at Ollie's, and well, not Ollie's, but Aldi's. So I mean, people are flipping. and they're going to start buying. They're going to start hoarding their stuff, and I don't think hoarding's the answer, but I think you should be prepared, and I think you should stock up. There's a difference between stocking up and hoarding. There really is.
Correct.
There's
Correct.
a giant difference.
I do have a story from Springfield.
Oh, have we forgotten about Springfield?
I haven't, apparently.
So Springfield, yeah. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. So Springfield,
So we're not talking about cats.
No, we're not
talking about
Well,
dogs.
so the debate is tonight. I wonder if Timmy is going to bring up, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump talking about Springfield. So Springfield, Ohio is still. I had someone there.
It's a fucking shithole. I'll just say it straight out.
I'm not going to call it a shithole.
I know people that work there that tell me that it's a fucking shithole. And I found this video, and this is from a council meeting, which I think is just deplorable.
Oh, could you imagine if I had pulled this crap?
So when I saw this video, I actually
thought of me.
I was like, oh shit, this reminds me of
what
a
Baptist would
trustees
do.
meeting. But I actually reached out to somebody, and they confirmed that this actually happened. This is not
doctored. It's not fake. It's not. Like they're claiming that Tim Walsh didn't flip off the fan at the Michigan Stadium.
Oh,
although he absolutely did.
He
absolutely did. But they're not denying.
And he
it.
got booed as he went.
And he got booed. Yeah, but that's fault. Like the laptop, like Hunter's laptop was fake.
That's fake news.
Right,
That's fake news, Andrew.
I'm sorry.
Shut your mouth.
You shut your mouth.
I got 56 seconds of a Springfield council meeting that I found amusing, and then I reached out and found out that it was true.
Well, during the break, Crystal forgot to turn her mic off and announced to the entire city that we don't give a shit. With that statement, Crystal single-handedly proved that this is how the citizens of this city are talked about between yourselves. This is where our concerns and fears get us in your eyes. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks for that. So I'm going to ask you, before I'm done with this joke, who the hell don't give a shit again?
I beg your
I mean, I'm sure they probably. I beg your pardon. You can't use words like that.
You
That's when they
can't
get.
use those words, but yet your fucking council member can sit there. Granted, the mics are off, but I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit about the businesses.
So I have a friend that's in the medical industry, and they travel all over the state of Ohio, and they were just recently in Springfield, Ohio. And from what I've heard from that friend, they were just there today. And I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to put their job at risk.
Which is fair.
So that the apparently a lot of the Haitian refugees are HIV positive, and the HIV births are going through the roof. So they're it's causing a lot of stress on the
healthcare system.
on the healthcare system there.
No doubt.
So there's there's a mini I don't know how would you describe it, but HIV is still a health issue, right? I mean, it's still
pretty big deal.
Still a pretty big deal. You can't. It's not curable. I mean, you can suppress it a lot. I see the commercials, and there's one channel I watch that just for some reason that's the only commercial they keep playing over and over and over again. And it's a legit channel. I think it's like HGTV or something like that. But anyway, my point is AIDS is a big deal. HIV is a big deal. And so what we've done is, without health screening, used to be, like we discussed earlier, you couldn't come into this country if you had a serious disease or ailment that was transmittable. HIV clearly is a serious disease or ailment and is still transmissible. So I don't know what's going to happen up there in Springfield, but I can tell you this, that all of those babies who are now American citizens that are being born in Springfield, Ohio, are probably going to be on the public healthcare system, getting their AIDS treatment taken care of and paid for by you and me.
You're a good man.
I feel better now.
A good man.
I feel better. So if you weren't pissed off before about the distraction with cats and dogs and geese and ducks, you can be if you've let
be pissed off the fact that your council people up there
don't give a shit.
They're like, fuck it, and we don't give a shit.
And I've heard from the other person, from that same person, they said it is the reports of the houses a lot of the houses being owned by the mayor up there are true, and that they're loading up the houses because they're getting vouchers from the state and the federal government to put per bed, not per house. So you're putting a ton of people, and the rents are being driven up, and the local people can't afford rents anymore, so they're being forced out of their own community.
Definitely big business.
Those are facts, folks. You may not agree, and you might be distracted by the cats and dogs talk, but that's just simply what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. And like we mentioned, Jason, I don't want people to think that we just care about Springfield, Ohio. We do.
I mean, it's close.
Even though you called it a shithole. But
it is a shithole.
But how many Springfield, Ohios, like we discussed, are going on all across the United States?
How many
today?
Springfield, Ohio's got smoked in North Carolina?
Oh, they don't give a shit
South
about
Carolina.
That. They don't give. If those were migrant, I'll tell you right now, if any of those communities in Carolina were like a migrant town like Springfield, I think you'd see every federal agency there helping out.
Yes.
But the fact that, we send billion. I'll tell you something else that sticks to my crown now that you're kind of getting me a little percolating. I'll tell you, we spend billions and billions and billions. We spent how many billions have we sent to Ukraine, right? And we don't have the resources. Why are we sending all of our precious tax dollars overseas when we have people in this country that are suffering, that we pay? We're not paying to take care of Americans. That's the part that pisses me off. Yep. And I'll tell you something else. I'd like to see how many others of those goddamn countries are going to be sending us aid for the people that are hurting in fucking Tennessee or North Carolina or Florida. How many other countries are sending us aid for when something happens here in the United States?
It's a one-way street out.
Yeah. So, we have an election coming up 30 days, and I'm going to always keep hammering it because this is the world I kind of pseudo live in, and I swim in that pool. You're right. You might want to take a look in the mirror, see what's going on in the world, and be like, you know what? Maybe I am focusing on the wrong things. We do have a lot of problems in the United States. We do have a lot of things going on here. We have problems here. We should fix the problems here. Not to mention, we didn't even touch on how much it's going to cost to rebuild just the infrastructure in North Carolina and Tennessee, because most every road, especially in Western North Carolina, is destroyed. Oh, so getting back, thank you. I'm sorry, we forgot about that. Tonight the debate is tonight's at 9. We have the Orlando Sunza debate at what, 7?
Yeah, I think that's it. I believe that's at 7.
That's a local deal here in Cincinnati. We're not going to be nationally broadcast, but tonight at 9 we have the debate between Tampon Tim Walz and JD Vance. I want everyone to remember, I just want you to remember that what Tim Walz is going to do tonight is he's going to lie. Why do I say that, Jason?
Well, because it's actually happened.
Historically accurate fact that this guy can't seem to control his emotion, which he lost his shit at the U of M football game and flipped off somebody in the crowd, and that's documented.
And somebody's going to say that, that picture was taken out of context.
Whatever.
No, I watched the video.
Right. I watched the video of it too. Oh, videos are fake. Anyway, so could you imagine? I mean, could you imagine if that was JD Vance or Donald Trump that flipped somebody off? The paper would be every headline in the United States. But Tim Walz does it, and you don't see it. So anyway, let's go over his past, just recent past, which is why a majority of his family is not supporting him, because he's a weird dude. Let's talk about his stolen valor, how he was serving in war. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a veteran. We've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm not a veteran, so I don't like saying terms like stolen valor. Ad nauseum means a lot. But I mean, so my point is saying this is I don't feel comfortable discussing someone stealing valor. But on behalf of my veteran friends who I serve, I honor by helping them in a lot of different ways. This guy was a Guard member, which there's nothing wrong with the Guard. They serve they serve a vital interest and vital purpose. But when called to serve, this guy quit. This guy did not go with his unit, and he absolutely avoided going to a war zone because he didn't want to go. So he abandoned his unit and he did not go.
I looked at this briefly, so I'm just trying to get down to
the next headline. Number 2,
because
he stole the other thing that he stole valor, and he's still doing it. They quietly scrubbed the website of Kamala Harris page about his rank, but he never made this rank. And he tells people, and he has on his challenge coin that he gives out, that he was a retired command sergeant major. That is actually factually inaccurate. And the problem is, the reason this is such an easy one, when you are discharge from the military, or you get a DD 214, and his would say the rank that he was on there, C whatever or whatever it says, and he knew that he wasn't, but it just makes for good PR bullshit to say that you were. I don't know why he stopped there. He should have said he was a fucking general, but that's just my opinion.
He got told the rank he was going to get if he finished.
If he stayed
program.
in.
It was a 4-year program,
right, and he did not stay in.
Yes.
So he quit, but he claimed the higher rank. This is a good one because they bring this up. So he and his wife claimed that they conceived through in vitro fertilization, which they said, wouldn't be possible if Donald Trump, blah, 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 passes a blah, 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 blah. The simple fact of the matter is him and his wife did not conceive through in vitro fertilization. They conceived through another very long name, complex procedure down there that wouldn't have had anything to do with the harvesting of the eggs, where I don't want to get too medical on it, but his stuff was put in her thing, and then whatever happened. So it's down there. What is it called again? It's called.
Where you at?
It's something there. He had his wife. The WAS is they known as interurine insemination. So his boys were injected into her uterus, and that's what they went through. They did not go through in vitro fertilization,
as is traditionally.
Right. So he lied about that. So need we bring up the fact that he also lied back in 95 when he got a DUI, when he got pulled over for driving while intoxicated and claimed he couldn't hear.
Which I'm going to tell you, the DUI to me, I don't give a shit.
No, it wasn't. That's
1995. Who gives a shit? I had a DUI in 2001.
But when he was pulled over, he claimed he faked that he was deaf, and he was not deaf, and he faked he was deaf from his military career, which is an even bigger bullshit. He carried weapons in war.
Because you hear so many people.
He lies so much by omission. Have you noticed that? He lies by omission. He says, exactly. Like when he said he was talking about when he was in Afghanistan. He was on the runway in the base that we abandoned there in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Well, he was there as a congressman years and years later, but he lets it. He starts one
like
story
he was there as a
soldier. Like he was there on that he was there on a mission, and he lies by omission constantly. Let's see if he does it tonight. So keep it out. The other thing is, I got the Outstanding Young Nebraskan Award, right, from the Chamber of Commerce. Well, sorry, the Chamber of Commerce says no, you never got that award because we didn't give it to you, and there is no such thing.
Just like Kamala Harris.
So he's full of shit about that. Keep on going down. Yeah, come on, I was working for McDonald's. His administration or his staff.
That's why my Big Macs get fucked up every time.
His staff.
She was a training. She was in charge of.
No, she did.
She was a training.
She did the fries. She said she did the
training
fries.
czar of Big Macs.
So the other one is the phony headlines, and most people don't even know about that. Those staff has been taking, and her staff has been taking headlines from news organizations and changing them and making them misleading and actually false. So, hey, that's okay. Another thing came up. I'm not going to talk about the white taco guys because I think that's stupid. I don't really care. But at the end of the day, another thing he did today. I sent you the video of him in a hearing saying he was in Tiananmen Square in China in May of 88 or whatever it was. And
did you send me an actual video?
I sent you the actual email. I don't remember. But anyway, so here's the deal. No, he wasn't. He was in Nebraska in May of 88. He was not in China. That was another lie. I mean, the guy just constantly lies. I've read that he's very nervous about tonight. So I don't know if
I can't wait.
I mean, look, JD Vance is very well versed.
I think I'm more excited about this one than it was Trump and Kamala.
The problem I have is on CBS, which I got a fundamental problem with that. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I wish that did I say someone said I said the wrong word? Anyway,
you probably did.
Whatever. It was close. Right. It was close. So anyway, the fact that
you're going to get judged being on this podcast anyway.
Fine.
You're going to get judged by everybody.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
So the fact of the matter is, this guy is going to. I wish it was fact check in real time, and maybe we'll find a website that does that. This guy has a propensity his whole career. The reason that his brother says, I wouldn't trust him with any major decisions, because I think they know he's just a loose freaking cannon. And this guy is the probably the worst candidate she could have chosen to be vice president, but she chose it because she had to find someone more liberal than she is to make her look halfway sane. That's my opinion. And that's why she chose him.
It's actually not a bad, that's not a bad hypothesis.
I came up with that all by myself.
Look at you.
I know. Look at you.
Look at you. I'm
Got a haircut and everything.
I'm so proud of you. Hey, so hopefully.
God, we got through a whole show without mentioning somebody's moniker online, and I don't think we should. So let's not mention. I saw you just had a comment, but we're going to go a whole show without mentioning someone's name, and that's going to drive them crazy.
Hopefully, potentially, I'm just going to throw this potentially out, and then you and I will talk afterward. But we're gonna.
So it's 6:06. Are you talking about tonight?
No.
Oh,
potentially Friday. Hopefully, Andrew and I can be back. But I'm gonna close the show out with this, and then we're completely going out. But Andrew, I'm glad you were here.
Jason, thank you for having me. Great show as always. Well produced.
I'm glad everybody was here to watch it and throw the comments in. Very weird times that we're in, but I want to throw this out for our buddy Pete Rose. Big deal here in Cincinnati, so R.I.P. Pete.
Yep.
You know, when I played a game of baseball, as you all know, I grew up here in Cincinnati. All the guys born here in Cincinnati all played the same way. Bust your ass and win the game. You guys didn't even realize this, but all the years I played, you motivated me because I was raised on the same water and the same food that you guys were raised on. I know the traditions of Cincinnati baseball. I know how you want to win. I know how you want the players to play hard. You didn't know it, but every night I went out there, you motivated me to play hard. You motivated me to get base hits. And I just happened to have a bunch of great teammates who felt the same way about the game as I did. Remember, you make it happen. Without you, we wouldn't even play baseball.